All right, folks, buckle up. We haven't even kicked off the Super Bowl, and Google's already facing major heat for their ad. I'm talking potential PR nightmare levels of heat. What went wrong? Was it a creative misfire? A tone-deaf message? Or something even bigger? We're diving deep into the good, the bad, and the downright embarrassing of this year's Super Bowl advertising landscape. Let's get into it. So, what's the buzz? Well, industry experts like Deacon Webster are already talking about how the best ads are the unconventional ones. He's saying the ads that break away from the typical celebrity-packed, over-the-top narratives are the ones that truly resonate. This is a direct shot at the big-budget, celebrity-heavy campaigns we've come to expect. Are we finally seeing a shift away from those tired tropes? I think so, and it's about time. Webster specifically calls out DoorDash, Reese's, and Etsy for their non-celebrity, creative ads. This is huge. It validates the idea that focusing on brand messaging and creative storytelling can be way more effective than just throwing a famous face at the screen and hoping for the best. These brands prove that you can capture attention and build brand loyalty without emptying your bank account on A-list talent. It's about cleverness, folks, not cash. Now, Mike Sotelo brings up another critical point: cultural relevance. He highlights Snapchat's genius move of capitalizing on the Taylor Swift phenomenon. Talk about perfect timing. This shows how vital it is for ads to be plugged into the cultural zeitgeist. You can't just create something in a vacuum. You have to understand what people are talking about right now and find a way to authentically connect with that conversation. It's about being a part of the cultural moment, not just trying to sell something. Sotelo also points out the continued power of humor, nostalgia, and surprise. Hellman's, E-Trade, and even Kanye's Spot, more on that later, are examples of how these elements can grab viewers' attention. Let's be honest, we all love a good laugh, a trip down memory lane, or something completely unexpected. The key is to use these elements strategically and in a way that aligns with your brand. Don't just be funny for the sake of being funny. Make it meaningful. And then there's Dove. Mike McCormick emphasizes the impact of their ad, highlighting the power of emotional storytelling. Look, in a world of constant noise and information overload, connecting with viewers on an emotional level is more important than ever. Dove consistently delivers on their message of self-worth and body image, and that's why their ads resonate so deeply. Authenticity wins, every time. McCormick also reminds us of the consistent importance of automotive advertising during the Super Bowl. It's a classic Super Bowl staple, and with good reason. The Super Bowl is a massive platform for these brands to showcase their latest innovations and connect with a huge audience of potential buyers. It's a high-stakes game for the auto industry, and they know it. Let's circle back to Snapchat for a second. Their whole campaign is built around the idea of less social media, more Snapchat. That's a bold move. It puts pressure on other platforms to focus on fostering more authentic and meaningful connections, rather than just chasing engagement metrics. Are we going to see other social media giants follow suit? I think they might have to. The winds are changing, folks. Speaking of trends, the CeraVe campaign's influencer lead-up highlights the continued importance and potential of influencer marketing. When done right, it can be incredibly effective. But remember, authenticity is key. People can spot a fake endorsement a mile away. It's about finding influencers who genuinely believe in your product and can connect with their audience in a meaningful way. Be strategic, be authentic, and be prepared to invest in long-term relationships. The ability to identify and capitalize on trends like the Taylor Swift phenomenon, as Snapchat did, underscores the importance of data analysis and real-time insights in marketing strategy. It's no longer enough to just guess what people want. You need to use data to understand their behaviors, preferences, and motivations. This is where AI and machine learning come into play. The future of marketing is data-driven, and those who embrace it will be the ones who succeed. So, if more advertisers heed the advice of focusing on brand-centric creative, could we see a shift away from solely relying on expensive celebrity endorsements? I think it's possible. Don't get me wrong, celebrities still have influence, but the smart brands are realizing that they need to be more strategic and integrated in their approach. It's about finding the right celebrity who truly embodies your brand values and can connect with your target audience in a meaningful way. It's not just about the fame, it's about the fit. Let's talk about something potentially problematic: the increase in sports gambling ads. It's everywhere, and it's only going to get worse. While it's a lucrative market, there are serious ethical concerns about promoting gambling, especially to vulnerable populations. We need to be having a serious conversation about the responsible advertising of sports gambling and the potential consequences for individuals and society as a whole. This is a ticking time bomb if we aren't careful. One thing that's consistently impressive about Super Bowl ads is the high production quality. This focus on craft can influence overall advertising standards and inspire creativity across the industry. It's a reminder that even in the age of social media and user-generated content, there's still a place for high-quality, beautifully produced advertising. The Super Bowl is a showcase for the best of the best, and it pushes everyone to raise their game. And of course, the ads create topics of discussion, generating earned media and social media engagement. It's a virtuous cycle. The more people talk about the ads, the more exposure the brands get, and the more likely they are to achieve their marketing goals. The Super Bowl is more than just a football game. It's a cultural event, and the advertising is a big part of that. Okay, let's talk about risks. The Snapchat ad capitalizing on the Taylor Swift craze highlights one big one. Relying on a specific celebrity or trend for success is inherently unstable. What happens if Taylor Swift suddenly does something controversial? What happens if the trend fades? Your ad is toast. You have very little control over these external factors. It's a high-risk, high-reward strategy, and you need to be prepared for the potential downside. The success of ads like the Duolingo owl spot depends on a positive reaction, but weird and subversive can easily turn into annoying and off-putting. Imagine a coordinated online backlash against that owl. It could damage the brand. Monitoring social sentiment and having a contingency plan is absolutely crucial. You need to be ready to pivot if things go south. The mention of Kanye West's self-recorded spot presents some serious technical risks. A self-produced ad might lack the professional polish and technical expertise of a professionally produced ad. Poor audio, shaky visuals. It all reflects poorly on the brand. Sometimes, you get what you pay for. This was a gamble, and it could easily have backfired. I've mentioned it before, but the proliferation of sports gambling ads is a clear and present danger. These ads can be used to promote gambling to vulnerable populations, leading to addiction and financial ruin. We need stricter regulations and responsible advertising practices to protect people from the potential harms of sports gambling. This is not a game. It's a serious issue. The article notes the trend of layering on celebrity after celebrity. This is a huge business risk. High celebrity endorsement fees don't guarantee ROI. If the ad doesn't resonate, you've just wasted a ton of money. And worse, a celebrity's actions outside the ad campaign can negatively impact your brand's image. It's a risky game to play, folks. Think twice before throwing millions at a famous face. The co-founder of Walrus points out the exceptionally noisy ad environment. This is a major business risk. Ads can get lost in the clutter. If your ad doesn't stand out, it's a wasted investment. The focus on humor, nostalgia, and weird surprises can be a trap. You need to make sure your ad is actually memorable and connects with your target audience on a deeper level. Don't just be loud. Be meaningful. Humor is subjective. What one person finds funny, another may find offensive or simply unfunny. An ad that misses the mark can generate negative publicity and damage your brand's image. This is especially true for brands targeting a diverse audience. Be careful with your jokes, folks. What seems harmless to you might be deeply offensive to someone else. The presence of so many sports gambling ads, especially during the Super Bowl, raises concerns about market saturation and potential consumer fatigue. This could lead to diminishing returns for gambling companies and increased regulatory scrutiny. The market can only handle so much. Are we reaching a tipping point where people are just tuning out the gambling ads? I think we might be getting close. We mentioned Kanye's self-recorded ad was certainly unexpected, but it was also a huge risk. An ad that is poorly received or generates controversy can damage the brand's reputation and lead to financial losses. Sometimes, being different isn't enough. You need to be different in a good way, not in a way that alienates your audience. While Snapchat's ad was successful, leveraging the Taylor Swift craze raises ethical questions about exploiting fandom for commercial gain. You need to make sure your ad is authentic and doesn't appear to be cynically exploiting the artist's popularity. Fans are smart, and they can spot a fake connection a mile away. Be genuine, be respectful, and be mindful of the power you wield. While the Snapchat ad aims to promote authentic connections, there's an underlying ethical concern about promoting social media use in general. Given the documented negative impacts of excessive social media on mental health, brands need to be mindful of the message they're sending. Are you encouraging healthy habits, or are you contributing to the problem? Think carefully about the impact you're having. The Dove ad, while praised for its message, touches on sensitive topics like body image and self-esteem in young girls. There's a risk of inadvertently reinforcing negative stereotypes or contributing to unrealistic beauty standards. Careful consideration must be given to the ad's messaging and imagery to ensure it is truly empowering. You need to be absolutely sure you're not doing more harm than good. The proliferation of ads for sports betting raises concerns about the potential for problem gambling and its associated harms. Ethical considerations include responsible advertising practices, age verification, and providing resources for those struggling with gambling addiction. It's not enough to just make money. You need to be responsible and protect your customers from harm. The analysis doesn't explicitly mention diversity and representation, but this is always a potential ethical risk. If your ads lack diversity in terms of race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, and disability, they can perpetuate harmful stereotypes and alienate large segments of the population. Representation matters, folks. Make sure your ads reflect the world we live in. And of course, any ad that makes false or misleading claims about a product or service is unethical and potentially illegal. Be truthful, be transparent, and be honest with your customers. Your reputation is your most valuable asset. Don't risk it with deceptive advertising. So, what's the takeaway? The Super Bowl commercial landscape is fraught with potential risks. A successful campaign requires careful consideration of not only creative execution and target audience, but also the potential ethical, business, and technical pitfalls that can undermine even the most well-intentioned efforts. A robust risk assessment and mitigation strategy are essential for brands looking to make a splash during the big game. This isn't just about making a funny ad. It's about protecting your brand and doing the right thing. Are you ready to play the game? Or are you going to fumble the ball?